Steph Curry is the greatest shooter of all time, and many believe he's a top 10 NBA player ever. This is the story of Steph's unusual path to the NBA and how he transformed from a skinny, unranked high school player to an all-time great. Steph Curry's story begins in Akron, Ohio, in the same hospital where LeBron James was born. With his father, Del Curry, playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers, Steph grew up with the NBA dream in his blood. But here's the kicker. No one, not even his dad, believed it could happen. Sure, Steph was incredibly skilled, but his size? That was a massive problem. He was the smallest, skinniest kid on every team, and his jerseys, they always hung off him like a tent. When Del moved to Toronto for his career, the Curry family followed. There, Steph and his brother Seth spent their free time shooting on the court during halftime. No distractions, just hoops. It was in Toronto where Steph's game started to come alive. His handles and shooting weren't just good, they already looked a lot like what we see today. Crossovers, behind-the-back dribbles, and all kinds of advanced ball-handling moves became second nature to him. In fact, he was arguably the best young player in all of Canada at the time. What helped him elevate his game even more? Being surrounded by NBA players. Steph soaked it all in, watching their practices, learning from their routines, and developing an incredible feel for the game. He realized early on that he might not grow to 6'8", or have that explosive athleticism, so he focused on something else: hard work. He knew that for any chance to make it, he'd have to outwork everyone else. And that's exactly what he did. Steph would challenge Vince Carter to one-on-one games after home practices. By the time he was just 12 years old, he was beating NBA players in three-point shooting contests. But it wasn't just about shooting, Steph was a mastermind on the court. Playing for Queensway Christian School, he led them to an undefeated season and a provincial title, all while making opponents look foolish with his ability to change direction, manipulate angles, and find the smallest openings for deep shots. Even as a kid, he had a court vision that most NBA players only dream of. Defenders? They always had to keep an eye on him because if he was open, he never missed. Steph was quiet and humble, but if an opposing team tried to intimidate or talk trash to him, he would transform into a baby-faced assassin, often finishing the game with 30 or 40 points. When Del retired from the NBA, the Curry family moved back to Charlotte, and Steph led his Christian school to 3 conference titles. As a senior, Steph's team reached the state championship game, where their opponents, Greensboro Day, used a box-in-one defense strategy. A 6'6" athletic forward was glued to Steph the entire game, denying him the ball and using his size to frustrate him. Despite playing his heart out, Steph finished with just 8 points in the loss. At that point, Steph was only 6'2" and weighed 160 pounds soaking wet. He didn't receive any college offers despite his skill and shooting ability. He wasn't even ranked nationally as a junior. However, Steph's status improved in his senior year, where he was ranked as the 16th best player in North Carolina. He was also ranked as the 60th best point guard in the nation and the 300th best player overall. Still, there was hope to keep his basketball dream alive. Steph eventually received offers from 5 schools. Del Curry's alma mater, Virginia Tech, offered him a scholarship, but only if he agreed to redshirt as a freshman. Steph chose Davidson College so he could stay in North Carolina and start immediately, a decision that turned out to be the correct one. As a freshman at Davidson, Curry averaged 21.5 points per game, led the Southern Conference in scoring, and ranked second in the nation among freshmen, behind only Kevin Durant. He also broke the NCAA freshman season record for three-pointers made and took the Wildcats to March Madness, where they lost in the first round despite Steph's 30-point performance. In the summer of 2007, Steph grew slightly to reach his current height of 6'3" and entered his sophomore season, averaging 25.5 points per game. He led Davidson to an undefeated season in the Southern Conference and another berth to March Madness. No one expected much from the Wildcats, as besides Steph and point guard Jason Richards, the team was mostly made up of marketing specialists, data scientists, and other students with no future in basketball. Then it started happening. Steph torched Gonzaga with 40 points, leading Davidson to its first NCAA tournament victory in 39 years. In the second round, despite Steph only scoring 5 points in the first half and Davidson being down by 17, the Wildcats rallied. Steph scored 25 points in the second half, leading Davidson to a 74-70 comeback victory over Georgetown. In the Sweet 16 against Wisconsin, Steph continued his run with 33 points in a blowout win. Curry became a national sensation, and all eyes were on him. In the Elite Eight, despite his brilliant performance, Davidson lost by 2 points to top-seeded Kansas, but Curry's performances in those 4 games became